Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Mentorship Meetup Wednesday. It's great to see everybody. Welcome in, get comfortable. We're getting this live stream running loud and proud for everybody. So if you are already in the room, before we start reaching out to battle buddies, here's what I'm going to need you to do. You're going to go to the Facebook page. If you're already on the Facebook page, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go, you're going to like this live stream. Okay, you're going to like this video. Like it, love it, heart it. I'm one of those people. I don't like doing the like emoji. I feel like just a little thumbs up emoji is just, I don't know. I feel like it's impersonal. Like everybody just likes a page. Like, oh, cool, thumbs up. I'm the kind of person that's got to tell you how I really feel. So I give like a love emoji. I'm laughing, I'm crying, I'm getting angry. I'm an expressive emoji user. So guys, go like, heart, love, mad, laugh, I don't know, give some sort of expression to this live stream. And then what you're going to do is one or both. You could do one or both of these things. That'd be great. You're going to go ahead and you're going to share this live stream. You can share this live stream to your friends, or you can share it to your Facebook feed. And then go into the comment section and tag a battle buddy, tag a prayer partner, tag a neighbor, tag somebody you know needs to be here. Is there somebody you know or that you overheard talking about, where is my passion gone? My fire has died down. I find it so hard to spend time with the presence of God. Why is it so hard for me to get revelation? I'm pushing through rock after rock. I'm facing travail after travail. Like, what is going on? If this is something that you've heard somebody say, if you've heard them express this to you or overheard this somewhere, guys, I want you to go and tag them in this message, send them, reach out to them, tell them they need to be here, okay? Because we're going to ignite the fire again with this series that we are starting today. So if you've already done these things, if you've already gone this, I know we got our new tribe member, Alan, in there. He's like, I'm already, I did it. I'm with you. Let's go. I'm ready to ignite the fire. Good to see you, Alan. Welcome in. We need to make sure you get assigned your battle buddy today. So make sure you stick around until after the live stream ends. So for those of you who are watching this live stream, our tribe members who are in the room, you want to get in the room, guys. You want to get in the room with us. So if you haven't already booked a free consultation or signed up for our mailing list, you need to do so now. So you need to go to www.myprophetictribe.com. Go book your free consultation or sign up for our mailing list so you can get in the room, because once the live stream ends, we get interactive, we ask questions, we sometimes pray for one another and needs that are coming up in the breakout room after the live stream ends. So you want to make sure you are here every Wednesday, okay? 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every single Wednesday. So make sure you're here. Make sure you come receive that impartation. If you've already liked and shared, make sure you reached out to your battle buddy, tagged somebody. Give me a thumbs up, put an emoji in the comment section, put an emoji in the chat box, let me know who's here. In the meantime, I'm going to take a quick roll call in attendance, and then we are going to jump into today's message of Ignite the Fire again. Also, by the way, if you didn't already do this, make sure you've booked your seats for our summit in March 2026. We're going to drop that link for you in the comment section. It's ngpsummit.org. ngpsummit.org. Make sure you've booked your tickets. Guys, we are lowering the cost on all of our tickets so that we can get you guys there. We want you to be there. We want you to celebrate with us. We tried to make it free. We even tried to make the general admission free. But unfortunately, the system would not allow us to give it to you for free. They would not allow us to give it to you for free. So $5, general admission is $5 live. If you're coming live to San Diego, if you're going to join us in San Diego, make sure you've booked your tickets. We're expecting to be sold out. You've got 6 months, so get in now so you get those toasty, comfy seats. And we're going to see you guys, San Diego, March 2026, 20th through to the 22nd. Come join us. Come celebrate. I want to see you guys there, especially for our international peeps. I want to make sure you get dibs on those seats, all right? So, welcome to our incredible tribe joining us from all over the world. We've got a couple of countries represented, so if you're from another country or another state, drop your flag in the chat box. I know my little brother would be more than happy to comment on those. But I want to talk about today is, why has my fire gone out? We can't talk about lighting the fire again without first acknowledging the fact that the fire has gone out. Okay? And even in the natural, there are two reasons a fire goes out. Two very clear reasons. Either A, because the fire was never fed and it ran out of things to burn up, it lost its food, it wasn't fed enough. Or B, because something put it out. Those are the only two reasons you don't got your fire right now. And it needs to be lit again. Because otherwise, that fire is always there. Coals are always burning hot. In fact, one of the most dangerous and crazy things you can do when you're putting out a fire is just covering it. If you've got burning hot coals and you just cover a bunch of sand over it, you know what's going to happen? Those coals are going to sit simmering underneath that sand. It's going to remain hot. In fact, there have been instances where a wildfire has broken out because somebody didn't properly put out their fire and break up all the coals, so they stopped burning. And it ended up, the wind came and moved the sand away. It lit up all those sparks of the coal that's been sitting under all that sand and under all that dirt. And then those sparks went flying everywhere. And we had a wildfire breakout. So even if you're smothered, even if you feel smothered, if you feel like you're being overwhelmed, that fire, that spark is still there. So when we jump to the extreme of saying, my fire has gone out, we need to recognize two things are at play. It wasn't fed or something put it out. It's a deliberate act because it's actually very hard to kill a fire. I'm not talking about a candle flame. I'm talking about a fire that burns bright, hot, and proud for all to see. Okay? So over the next few weeks, so today and the next 2 weeks afterwards, we're going to discuss these two aspects. We're going to look at the aspect of, the internal and external, why it wasn't fed, who put it out, and then how to get that fire back on today. But I want to first take us a look in Hebrews chapter 12, verses 25 through 29, okay? That's what I want to focus on today. It says, "See that you do not refuse him who speaks. For if they did not escape who refused him who spoke on the earth, much more shall we not escape if we turn away from him who speaks from heaven." In this aspect, they're referring to Jesus who was here on earth. They're saying, like, hey, don't turn away from his words. If you're turning away from his words, there are those here on earth who turned away from his words, who didn't want to listen to him, and they didn't escape. How much more us who are listening to the Son of God who's sitting up in heaven? They wouldn't even listen to a man down here on earth. How much more our Father who is in heaven and has control over this entire earth? We will not escape his hand. So let's make sure we abide by his words. Let's make sure we're listening to what he's saying and we're being obedient to obey and to do as he says and have that relationship with him. It says, "Whose voice then shook the earth, but now he has promised, saying, Yet once more I shake not only the earth, but also heaven." Now this yet once more indicates the removal of those things that are being shaken. As of things that are made, the things that which cannot be shaken will remain. Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom which cannot be shaken, let us have grace by which we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear, for our God is a consuming fire. In the Bible, fire speaks of 5 things. Okay? Fire speaks of 5 things. First, it speaks of God's presence and glory. We see this especially in the book of Exodus when they are exiting Egypt, and throughout that entire journey through to the wilderness, through to the promised land, until eventually they took all their territory. We see God appearing to the children of Israel as a pillar of fire by night and a pillar of smoke by day. By the way, smoke is evidence of fire. So even during the day, sorry, my internet's a little strappy today, so bear with me, you guys. So even during the day, even though they did not see a pillar of fire, that fire was still there. The smoke was evidence that the fire was still burning hot and leading the way. God's glory, God's presence was still very much there. And everybody could see it. Everybody could witness it. There was no denying that Moses was leading them in the direction God was leading him. The evidence of God's glory and of his presence was there. So throughout the Bible, we see fire as the presence of God and his glory. The second thing we see it as is a form of purification. Fire purifies. There were many laws, many instructions that God gave to throw things into the fire to purify them, whether it was through sacrifice to purify of sins or to purify an object. Purification, fire purifies. I did a series a little while ago where we talked on fire, and I talked about wildfires and the power of wildfire, both the pros and cons of it. I recommend you guys go and check out that series. You can find it on our YouTube channel. If you didn't check it out, go find it there on our Next Gen Prophets YouTube channel, okay? I'm not going to go into depths of it, but it purifies, it cleanses. Fire is also a sign of judgment in the word. When God was bringing judgment on a city, he was bringing judgment on the priests. If there was a priest that wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing, fire, instant fire. Lightning bolt fire from the sky, burnt to a crisp, right there, ashes remained. And then the other priest was sent in, and right next to those ashes, if he didn't do what he's done, fire, boom, out. Ashes remains. The fire of God is also a symbol of judgment in the word. Now, judgment is a harsh word. It can sound very scary when we hear judgment, especially because we live in a sinful world. We are human, we live in a sinful world, and let's be honest, as try as we might, we're not all quite righteous yet. If you have reached that, congratulations, expect chariots of fire to come sweep you off to heaven sometime soon, because that's what happened in the Bible when somebody reached that point. So congratulations on your journey to heaven. The rest of us, mortals down here, we're still working through, and we are looking forward to getting to heaven one day. But fire of judgment can also be something healthy. Judgment, we see it as judgment of our sins. We are being judged for our wrongdoings, but we can also be judged for our rights. When we go to court, there is a judge that sits in the middle that looks at the defendant and the prosecutor's case, and they look at the litigation, they look at all the evidence, and they judge who is right and who is wrong. And when we talk judgment, we're always talking about how we are being judged for our sins, and we are being judged for everything we've done wrong, which we do see in the word. But I also see in the word an equal amount of how God judged who was righteous, who was worthy, who was the blessed son, who was worthy to receive the inheritance, to receive whatever it was that they were arguing over. Judgment can very much also be the dividing line between good and evil, not just all about evil, but showing off and bringing out the good in something and in you. Fourth, it was a symbol of sacrifice, very similar to purification. Fire was a symbol of sacrifice. When there was fire, something had to be offered to that fire. It had to be fed. It had to be fed to purify. It had to be fed to judge. It had to be fed to remain in place and in position. So this is also a sign of worship. When we worship God, when we are worshiping God with our prayers, when we are worshiping God with our praise and worship, when we are worshiping God in our work ethic, in our relationships, in everything that we say and we do, we are actually offering sacrifice, which keeps that fire inside of us burning. We're offering food, we're offering sustenance to that fire. And it's very easy to feel the presence of a fire that's well fed. Even across the room, you can feel the heat radiating from that fireplace if it is well fed. If it's not well fed, guess what? I'm coming back up to that fireplace and I'm going to worship it with some wood. I'm going to throw some wood on there. I'm going to throw some paper. I'm going to throw something that's going to burn, that's going to feed that fire so I can continue to feel the heat on my face to keep my house warm, to keep me warm, so that I can take care of my family and do what I need to do. I'm going to sacrifice. I'm going to feed. I'm going to worship. The final example or symbol of fire, and this is the most well-known concept of fire that we see throughout the world, and that is fire represents empowerment, zeal, or in other words, passion. We often put our fire with passion because fire is, well, it is passionate, it is explosive, it is intense, it is a myriad of colors. When we talk about somebody who's passionate about something, what do you see? Immediately, I see my 5-year-old jumping on all the couch cushions that he shouldn't be doing because I asked if he wanted an ice cream. Because I asked him about his favorite dinosaur. He is jumping up and down. He is running in circles. He is loud. He will not stop talking about his mosasaurus that he wants for Christmas. That is passion. That is passionate. That is zeal. But it is also empowering. It is a powerful tool when used correctly. But all we see is passion. And if somebody's not showing passion, if somebody is not showing that exuberance for life, jumping everywhere, doing all this crazy stuff, therefore, well, they got no power. But do you feel heat? Do you feel heat radiating off their skin? Are you feeling the purification? Are you feeling the judgment? Are you feeling the presence and the worship and the sacrifice that comes and oozes off of them? That's what we need to talk about, because we can't have passion without those first four. We can't have empowerment and zeal without those first four. Fire is not a feeling. Fire is. Fire is what it is. God says, I am who I am. Well, fire is what it is. You can't feel like there's a fire in the room without there being actual fire. Have you ever sat in the middle of a freezer and said, man, I feel like there's a fire in here? And you look around and there's no fire. So if you are personally sitting in the middle of a freezer and you're feeling fire and there is no fire, something's wrong with you. We need to start looking at your psychology. Either something's wrong with your brain, or there's something wrong with your body that's making you feel like there's a fire right next to you, because there's no fire here. We cannot have that fire. We cannot have flame without physical fire. Okay? So I need you to understand this concept as we begin talking about this. Now, where does that fire come from? I think it's pretty obvious to say that fire comes from, well, the source of fire. It comes from the creator of fire. Fire doesn't just appear out of thin air. Somebody has to create fire, and that somebody is God the Father. He is the very creator of this earth. He is the one who gave fire. He is the one who taught Adam and Eve how to make fire. He is the very creator who controlled the fire that led the Israelites into their promised land when they left Egypt. So we need to go to God. God is going to give us the needed boost in our spirits, because look, I'm your big sister. You know how much I love to give you practical, super practical stuff. And I'm going to give you some more practical steps in a moment, how to do this all practically. But I need you to grasp the concept that without God, nothing is possible. Because with God, all things are possible. This is what the Word of God tells us. So if you're looking for fire, you can have passion without God, by the way. Anybody can pick up a lighter and start that lighter. Woo, I got fire. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. I can even turn on the, light a candle. I could light my fireplace with the right lighter. I could light it and I could start that fire. But if you don't have the right materials, if you don't have the right foundation for that fire, you can light that fire. You can light that candle as much as you like. The fire will not remain. It will go out eventually. Remember, what are the two things we need in order to keep a fire? Two reasons a fire will go out? Because it wasn't fed, because somebody put it out. These are the two reasons. Wasn't fed means you did not prepare. You did not connect with your Heavenly Father to get the kindling, to get all the right layers for that fire that you needed to keep feeding it. You can go out into your backyard. You can go chop down some trees. You can get some really nice firewood from the store. But if you don't already have that fire going, if you put a big log on that tiny little candle flame, it's going to snuff it right out. It'll snuff it right out. It won't get hot enough to actually catch fire. So you need to go to God and receive the daily impartation that you need to face the day, to face the week, to face your family, to face your work, whatever it is that you need to do every single day to correctly build up your beautiful firewood stack so that the fire can continue to be fed. We must continue to feed the fire, and the only way to do that is through relationship with Jesus. So this week, I want us to focus on already fanning any flame that is there. You've got coals burning within you. You've got embers that are simmering underneath that surface. I know it doesn't feel like it because you're facing a lot of warfare, because you're facing a lot of rejection, you're facing a lot of pushback, you name it, you've got it coming at you, right? There's so many responsibilities, so many things that you need to do, so many reasons as to why you can't fully embrace or pursue the instruction God has given you. So many, right? There's not enough time. Somebody came up. The kids happened. I'll tell you a few of my excuses. It's just a fear of mine. Well, my husband was working and the kids needed something, so I couldn't go and take that time to spend time with Jesus. I got two rowdy boys. It's a very plausible excuse, but it's an excuse nevertheless. Because without the food to feed my fire, I'm not really taking care of my children. Because it's my job as a mother to give them fire. See, they're learning. They can't maintain their own fires yet. That's my job as a mother. I'm supposed to take care of the hearth. I'm supposed to keep that fire alive inside of them. So it's up to me to go get that fire and go pour it out. So how can I say I'm going to take care of my kids if I haven't got the fire to take care of them? I need to go get with God. I need to take that 5 minutes. If that's all it takes is 5-10 minutes, make that time. If they destroy the lounge in the meantime, let them. If they break a glass in the meantime, as long as they don't step on it and get hurt, let them. My mother used to say when she was spending time with God, and I didn't fully understand until I became a mother, she used to say, do not disturb unless there is blood. And we'd come knock on the door for something. She says, is there blood? No? Then go away. And I always, as a kid, felt this was so unfair. Like, really? You don't care about me? You don't love me? Like, I just fell off a tree and like really hurt myself. But there's no blood, so you don't care? No, it's not that she didn't care. It's that if she didn't take that time with Jesus, she would not be able to nurse me. She would not be able to take care of me the way I needed to be taken care of. And let's be honest, as children, everything's way bigger in our eyes. I said I fell out of a tree. I said I fell and broke my arm, but in reality, I fell off a stick that I was stepping on that my mother had told me not to step on in the backyard, and I got some dirt and a scratch. That's it. I knew how to nurse myself. I knew how to take care of myself. I wasn't a young 2-year-old. I just wanted my mom's attention. But she couldn't give it to me until she had Jesus to give me. And when we as parents start embracing the fact that we need fire to give our kids, we're now going to talk about raising a next generation, raising our child in the way they should go. We want to raise our children right. We want to mentor and disciple right. Well, then why don't we first go get it right? Why don't we first go get the impartation that we need from God? Before every appointment, before every prayer session, are you getting strategy from God on what questions to ask, what to stay focused on? Are you making sure you're taking that time to get food for your fire? So let us refocus our eyes a little bit, because before we can get practical, before we can begin talking about let's do the spiritual warfare, let's go and apply this scripture, let's go and do this thing, let's talk about, can we have conversation with God? Can we take time with God today? Can we look at where God is leading us? Look, y'all, anointed people, you guys get revelation, you get dreams, you get visions, and that's great. You don't need me to impart more to you. What you need is for me to dust the sand out the way so those embers that have been burning underneath come alive. And then I can tell you where to point that fire. I'm not going to give you more fire. You've got it within you. I'm just going to expose it for you so that you can begin stepping out. So, what's going to happen when you do go to God? This is where we're going to talk a little bit more practical. And we're going to begin wrapping up this session today. Remember, next week we're going to talk about what is stopping your fire. What keeps putting it out? We're going to look at those external factors. We're going to look at that spiritual warfare. And if you are a part of our tribe, we are going into lesson 1 of our prophetic warfare strategies of war for the next gen prophet course tomorrow night. So we are looking at displacement warfare. We're going to just dissect this topic of what's putting your fire out in way more depth. Make sure you've signed up. Make sure you join us in class tomorrow so you don't miss it. So let's look at the cycle of fire, okay? There are 3 things that are going to happen once we reveal those embers or you light that fire again, okay? These 3 things, write them down. If you take nothing else away, there are 3 things that are going to happen and you want to take note of them, all right? First is exposure. Second is purification. And third is renewal. These are the three things that are going to happen once your fire is exposed or lit. Now let's look at exposure. The Latin word for expose means to put, place, set, put out, to set forth, to bring into the open, right? That's what the Latin word means. But when we begin to look into the biblical definitions, there are two definitions. There are two Greek definitions. There's phaneru, which is to make visible, to reveal. And then there is apocalypto, which means to unveil or uncover. The root word of apocalypse. By the way, I thought that was a fun concept to understand. The root word of apocalypse. When we talk about apocalypse, we usually see world ending, right? Fires everywhere, everywhere from the Earth's core. And 9 times out of 10, it is because the bad guys got control of the world. They created this dystopian world. They took it over with, trash and ozone, and they destroyed the world, right? They went to war. Everything bad happened. And so usually our heroes in these kinds of sequences find some way to time travel or get a message back to the past to rewrite the wrongs or refix the world. But somehow we've got to figure out how to undo all this mess. When we talk apocalypse, that's what we see. And it's a very graphic image, and I want you to hold on to that image because that's what it feels like when fire comes out. It feels like an apocalypse just happened in your living room. You come out of your presence with God and the kids explode. Your spouse explodes. Your caring neighbor manifests. Your narcissistic boss just manifests and threatens to fire you for no reason. Apocalypse happens everywhere you turn, and you sit going, God, I thought you told me I was going to have the impartation and all the wisdom and revelation on how to have a great day. And he said, I did give it to you. Why did you think I needed to tell you how to have a great day? Because in order to have a great day, you've got to navigate the apocalypse happening outside your door. See, this is the thing. When fire goes out, the room grows dim. We don't really know what's in that room until it's relit again. And suddenly those cobwebs that you were ignoring have become an entire spider's nest. And we've got a little sack of black widows growing in there. Suddenly that little dust pile is not a little dust pile. It's a rat's nest crawling with babies getting ready to burst everywhere. And you're going, where did all this come from? This wasn't here. Oh, yes, it was. It's just the room was dim, so you never saw it. So you get that fire renewed. It's bright, it's burning, and it is exposing all the nastiness in your life that needs to be cleaned up. Exposure happens. Hell breaks loose. The apocalypse manifests right there in your bedroom. And you ask yourself, did I miss God? Nope. You did not miss God. You got the word from God. Now it's time to apply it. Because now we move on to step number 2, purification. See, once everything has been exposed, because God's going to show you, guys, I need you to understand the concept of exposure. Exposure means you see everything. Everything's unveiled. The things that were hidden, that apocalypse, when we use that image of apocalypse, fires everywhere, it's dystopian, the world is like on the verge of ending. Those evil conglomerates, those evil bad guys who got to that point didn't get there overnight. It started with small things that people were ignoring, people weren't seeing, or people weren't admitting. There was a lot of propaganda going on that allowed this stuff to hide under the radar until it was too late. Now we have nuclear bombs going off right next door. Those things have been building up. Those things have always been there. It's just now they are 100% exposed, and you're the one with the fire. No one else sees them. No one else sees them, guys. You keep asking yourself, why don't they see? Because they don't. You think they're ignoring these problems? You think they just don't want to admit that there's a problem, that they don't want to admit that it's there? No, they just don't see it. See, they don't got the fire you do. You just came out of time with Jesus. It's loud to you, but it's deaf to them. They've been living there this whole time. It's normal for them. They don't see anything different. And if you come at them and be like, why are you living in this pigsty? They're going to push back and you say, whoa, 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 what's up with you? I think you need to go back into your prayer closet and spend more time with Jesus, because you came out of here seeming very aggressive. You came out of here seeming very attacking and very unloving. And they're probably right. Your tone needs some work. But what happened is you came out and you got the fright of your life, because that widow's nest is about to burst. And those rats are scampering everywhere, getting all over that beautiful food that you just bought. And you don't want to see that contamination go to your kids. And so you freak out. Now we purify. Welcome to purification. The Latin word, of course, means to clean, pure, to make unmixed, free from contamination. It means to make or to do. It's a very active word. But in the Bible, we see 2 or 3 ways of it, 2 Greek and 1 Hebrew. There's tahir, which is the Hebrew, which means to be clean, to cleanse, to purify. You can find this often used in like Leviticus for the ritual of purity specifically. And then the Greek, which is katharizo and hagnizo. Now, katharizo is a very fascinating word to me. So it means to cleanse, make clean, and to purge. It's also the root word of catharsis. Now, when something's cathartic or catharsis, it's the psychological relief that comes when something gets put in order. A relief comes on you. When we take time to purify something, purify ourselves, purify our home, purify our relationships, purify our Facebook feed, purify the books that we're listening to, anything. When we take time to purify, there is a cathartic reaction, a mental and emotional reaction and response that comes into us almost instantaneously, where you just relax. And all that stress and all that weight just falls right off of you. When you come to peace and you purify something, you receive catharsis. We want to be at peace throughout the day. Now look, we are unable to purify everything. We can only purify what you have control over. You can purify yourself, and you can purify what stimulation you're receiving. You can purify your relationships. You can purify what you read, what you watch, what you listen to. You can purify all of these things. You can't purify somebody else. The closest you can come is your children, if they're under a certain age. Once they've grown up and they've left home and they're able to make their own decisions, they're making their own decisions. You can give counsel and advice when asked. But otherwise, let them figure it out. I can make sure my children are operating in a purified environment. I can make sure those spider webs and spiders are cleaned up and the area sprayed down with bug repellent so they don't come back. I can get those mice out of my house and clean up anywhere that keeps attracting them. I'm purifying my home and making it a safe environment for them. I can make sure they get that bathtub and get cleaned off. I can do that. But I cannot force my spouse. I cannot force my brother. I cannot force my sister, my neighbor, my best friend. I cannot force them to do the same for their homes. And if I try to, I'm going to end up doing all the work and just getting into a fight with them, and it's not worth it. When you take this time to purify your surroundings, purify yourself, an immediate peace and joy that surpasses all understanding will come upon you. We want to keep asking God for peace, peace, peace. Lord, give me your peace. Give me your joy, your strength, your faith, your hope and love that surpasses all understanding. Just give me this supernatural thing. And he says, good, go clean up the mouse poop. They're like, yeah, but I need the peace to do that. He says, no. Go put in the hard work. Go clean up. Go get purified. But I just need this. No, go get purified. Go take a bath. Go shower. Go do something. Get purified, and the peace will come naturally. One last favorite thing my mother always told me growing up And again, as a teenager, I never really understood that. Although as teenagers, do we really ever fully understand our parents? I don't know. I feel like we have a lot of our own ideas of the world at that time. And she would always say this thing to me. I was very pale as a child. I had a very large iron deficiency. I was also an introvert, indoor kid. I did not love going outside, so I was incredibly pale. You know, vampire, Twilight Saga, sun glistening off the skin kind of idea. That was me. I was so pale. And there were some days I'd get up and my mom would look at me and she says, "Go put on some makeup. Go back upstairs and go put on some makeup." And, I would come downstairs already feeling kind of like tired and I'd be feeling drained and honestly a little depressed because my iron's low and I'm all these things, right? I got all these excuses. But you know what happened when I sat in the front of that mirror? I sat there begrudgingly the first few times. I was putting on my makeup. And as I watched the color come to my face, as I put on that fun eyeshadow color and I played around with my eyeliner, I had catharsis. I had a cathartic moment come on me where I was just sitting, tapping into my spirit of creativity, spending time with Jesus in that moment, igniting that fire, and the peace and the joy and the faith came right up out of me. And by the time I came downstairs, it may have only been like 15 minutes. I was a whole new person. And it wasn't just because I put makeup on. It was because I took that time to sit and get purified. See, for us women, we joke that makeup is our battle armor. It's our armor. When we go out into the world, we face it. This is our battle armor. This is our battle makeup. It helps us face the world. It's not about making ourselves look beautiful. It's about, this is who I am. It's a bold statement of who we are. And when you put on your armor and it makes you look good, you can't help but strut. You can't help but say, yeah, look at me, I'm strong. That's who we are as people. And when you take that time in the presence of God and you get purified, you purify yourself. When you go get in that shower, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, when you go clean up that stain that's been bugging you, and you just purify just that little bit, combine that natural catharsis that comes with the Spirit of God, and now we're talking power. Now we move on to renewal. Renewal, renewal, renewal. The word renew in Latin means again and back, renovar, to make new, to make fresh. But again, in the Bible, we see a couple of options. There's hadash, the Hebrew word, which is to make new, to repair, to renew, such as Psalm, which says, renew a right spirit within me. And then we have the Greek as well, which is anakainu and anakainosis, which is to make new again, to renew, to renewal, renovation, transformation. Transformation. This is the word I want to follow through with you. Because fire, it says, remember in Hebrews at the end there, it said, our God is a consuming fire. Hebrews 12:29. Our God is a consuming fire. You can never undo what fire has burned. You can repair, you can make adjustments, but it will never be exactly the same as it was before the fire got hold of it. We need to make adjustments. It's been transformed by that fire. It has been transformed. Even if you were to fix up the cracks on that broken vessel, you'll still know it got fixed. It'll have a story. It's got a scar on the inside that says, this was broken in a fire and I took it to this person and they got it fixed and you can't even tell. It was transformed. It was transformed from being never broken to being untouched to being broken to now being repaired. It's got 3 separate scars, 3 separate stories that bring up and make it so beautiful. So now we renew. Now we transform. I've spoken a lot about this in many other classes and many other mentorship meetups, but now once we've renewed, once we have been exposed, once we've purified and we've been renewed, we need to make adjustments. We need to make adjustments in how we're spending time with God. especially here, whether it's making more time, whether it is setting aside deliberate time, uninterrupted time, adjusting your schedules, adjusting your work hours, adjusting those meetings. I know for me as a tribe director, sometimes I can get so wrapped up in trying to meet with people and minister to them and help them light their fires that sometimes, honestly, I'm a little bad. I don't take as much time as I should. I need to take more time some days. And I get so focused on trying to be there for everybody that I forget that there's someone else who's my priority. More than my husband, more than my children, there's someone else who takes priority. And he's the very reason I'm here today. He's the very reason I woke up today. I'm alive today. I am alive, breathing, able to give this message, able to sleep, to live the life I'm living every single day because of him. And so I need to take that time to show him the reverence, to show him the respect, the esteem, and the appreciation. I need to be timely. I need to watch my words and show him how much I appreciate and allow that fire within me to continue to burn bright. Because the more you stir it, the more you're in that presence with God, the more things are going to be exposed, the more things that are going to need to be purified, and we cannot go back to that way of living. Have you ever met an addict when they're in the midst of their addiction and you try to talk to them about a life not addicted and they can't understand you, they can't comprehend? You try and tell them like, hey, there's a better way. And you're like, no, there's not. There's no way. That's not possible. And they can't imagine themselves not going through withdrawal when they get off drugs or alcohol or whatever it is. It's like trying to tell a blind man who's been blind since birth what the color blue and red looks like. You try and tell them about the rainbow and they can't understand because they've never seen. They know in concept, but they've never seen it. They will never truly comprehend what that reality is like until they themselves witness that reality. And that's the same for you. But once they experience that freedom, that true deliverance, and they start feeling healthy, nobody wants to willingly go back there. Nobody gets 100% clean, feels good about their lives, has a great life, everything that they need, and says, I think I want to go back to that life. I want to go back to the life where I felt hopeless, I felt depressed, I felt like I couldn't live or couldn't do anything. I want to go back to that. Nobody wants to go back there once they've been delivered, once they've been set free. So why are we doing the same? Why are we doing the same with God? Why are we renewing? Why are we going through this exposure, going through this purification, being transformed, and then going back into the environment that burned us the first time? Change it up. Change the environment. Change the music you're listening to. Delete the show. Throw away the book. Give away a book, even if that's what you need to do. Do what you need to do to make renewal stick. Let's make these steps to transform our lives, transform the way we're living, transform our calendars, our schedules to align with receiving that fire. Now, like I said, next week we will talk about what is putting out your fire, what is stopping it, what keeps stomping it out, because there are two ways. It wasn't fed or the fire was put out. So next week, I want to talk about the external factors and warfare that comes on you that puts your fire out. Today, what I wanted to do was feed the fire that you already have. If it's there and it's buried under the sand, we're exposing it and we're feeding it some fire today. What you can do in this week, in the meantime, while y'all are getting ready, while you're getting ready to jump into our breakout room or registering for your Next Gen Prophet Summit and going to meet us in March, what you can do in the meantime is set aside a minimum of 15 to 30 minutes every single day. First thing, before you open up your phone and you browse Facebook, before you check your mail, before you go and do all of these crazy things, just for this week, I want you to try this. From the moment you open up your eyes, go take that 15 to 30 minutes to just sit. Sit in the quiet. If you've got to escape to the bathroom and it's your bathroom time, then use it. Whatever it is, go do that thing. Sit and just Be in that presence. Talk to God about your day. Lord, I need to go. The kids are going to be up in 10 minutes. I need to make them breakfast. I'm thinking of doing this, but I don't know. There's not a lot of ingredients in the house. I need to go grocery shopping, but I don't know where I need to take the money from. I could take it from here, but I think I need to do it from there. And then after that, my boss wants this. And so I need to make sure this paperwork's done there. How should I be handling this? How should I be managing this, Lord? What should I be doing here? Because this is all I got going. But what is the priority today? What should I focus on? And allow him to give you that instruction. Every single day, give it a try. And then when we come back next week, we're going to talk about the warfare you face, because this is step 1, right? Step 1. We're getting exposed. We're exposing. And then next week, we'll talk about how we bring the purification, how we deal with those external factors putting out our fire. So for those of you on the live stream, we're going to end here, but I do want to see you at our Next Gen Profit Summit happening in March 2026, 21st and 22nd. 20th to the 22nd, sorry. I want to see you guys there, www.ngpsummit.org. I want to see you. Go register. Meet me there. Otherwise, I will see the rest of you guys next week. And for my tribe, I will see you tomorrow night for lesson 1 of prophetic warfare strategies for the Next Gen Profit. So for those of you here who are live, hang on back. We're going to answer some questions. The rest of y'all, we love you tons, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.